Hello everybody and welcome back to Godbridge Saves Football. It's the weekend preview and there's only one game going on. It's Liverpool against Manchester United, or I'll put us ahead because it's at Old Trafford in the FA Cup. Lots to discuss on that. We've got Godbridge, we've got a Man United Liverpool combined 11, but it's not all about that. We've got Liverpool fan Loz.
Thank you.
And Birmingham City fan Will.
Yes, took producer Niall to the game last night, first time at St Andrews. Absolutely hated it. We lost 1-0. Terrible day. So let's talk about Man United and Liverpool, please.
So I was about that.
That's okay.
There's a lot else to talk about as well. There are 3 other FA Cup ties, Man City, Newcastle.
Yeah, and you're really excited about those Premier League fixtures?
Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to do Godbridge this week because I've got a bloody clue. Just get my phone and riff.
Well, you did your best when you did that the other week. So
Did you? Yeah.
Pulled him out of his arse and he did really well.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Probably because that's just core knowledge, isn't it? You just pulled that from there.
How are you feeling, Loz, about, we did the last podcast, we were talking about the Liverpool title sham. Mm-hmm. People clicked it thinking he's going to slag Liverpool off. Idiots.
The other way.
Yeah, the other way.
The other way, yeah. It felt, I was at Anfield, felt a little less, like some people were really deflated. Some people were like, we should have won that. That's really good. It gives us something to rail against, as if we've not already had enough this season. But I personally don't mind it. I think as long as you peg back those big teams with you, you're good.
Always like the word peg.
Of course, yeah.
And also, I mean, look, you're right. You've got a lot of things to rally against in relation to a couple of VAR decisions. Absolutely. But what interests me, Will, is that he said before we went live, I'm a little bit worried that 2 games at Old Trafford could be the big points in Liverpool's season, because we said that 4-point gap would have given him a bit of a leeway. 1-point gap in the league. They've got to go to Old Trafford.
Yeah, I wouldn't really. I know it almost becomes. It is a derby, isn't it? So it becomes one of them games where you hope it doesn't get too over emotional. But I just think the way that those, like the youngsters of Liverpool and the players that have come in for everyone who's replaced them, have just been absolutely unbelievable.
I just don't think we've played anyone who's got like a level of hate for us. Yeah. Like we obviously Liverpool
make it a bit dirty.
Yeah, I think, and also you look at United's season. I think they probably look up the table at Liverpool and they think we should have been in that chasing pack of. Obviously Liverpool just behind Arsenal on the goal difference. But the point is, they thought they were going to be second, third, possibly, in the running for something. And
there's
now
meant to be a progressive season, definitely.
Yeah, and there's a resentment, I think, towards that. I know that resentment exists between these two squads. So I feel like there's that. And that would be one of the things as a United player, and obviously as a manager, you probably focus on and be like, let's peg these guys back a little bit. Let's bring them down.
Peg number 2 there.
Yeah, he's loving their pegging. I really do think, though, that I'm quite confident about United. Not in the sense that we'll win, but I just think that there's no reason at all for them. There's no excuse. It's at Old Trafford, so you can't get lost in the 7-0 Anfield stuff. Also, 75,000 people, cup game. We will be the underdogs. So, why not go out there and put a result in?
Exactly. And didn't you also hold us to a 0-0 draw, even though we had like an ungodly amount of shots? United defended really well in that game. I think if it had gone a little bit longer, Liverpool probably would have got something. But
I mean, that could be 2 points dropped, actually, when you look at it.
I think, it was 2 points dropped, as far as Liverpool were concerned. There was big frustration.
Rasmus back? No Rasmus?
Rasmus back, Wan-Bissaka back, which helps with moving Delo across to Salah, because Lindelof against Salah is a bloody nightmare.
It's not great.
No. I mean, what's your sort of thought on Liverpool against Manchester United? Because Will's right. I always see it as the biggest game of the season. And we do have Man City, which is a derby, but Liverpool is always the biggest game of the season. It's a technical derby for me.
I football hate Manchester United. I sports hate you. Obviously, in real life, if I met you, I'd probably shake your hand. I'd say you're a good
just
guy.
Then.
Yeah. But I sports hate Manchester United and everything associated with it. So yeah, it feels worse because there's just memories there. There's an affiliation between the two of us. What I would say is we've progressed quite a bit as a team in terms of movement, in terms of unlocking opposition since that United game, actually. So I'll be interested to see if there has been actual progress and whether we can go to Old Trafford and keep our heads.
Can I just throw it forward? Obviously, Jurgen Klopp's tenure's coming to an end. Fantastic. There was a famous Manchester United, Man United manager who had a big tenure. He left.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want the shit that happened after with all the chopping and check. Do you think that, with Edwards coming in, there's we need to get this right from the outset?
The Edwards coming in thing is a big thing, I think, for Liverpool. There was always such reverence around what Edwards did, and rightly so, because if you look at his transfer dealings, it's relatively flawless.
Why did he leave? Did him and Klopp not get on?
So I think there was a point he reached where he felt, I think Jurgen wanted more power in terms of transfers because he just felt he had profiles that he wanted, and he wanted to rebuild the team maybe in a way that Michael Edwards didn't particularly want to go down that route of. Obviously it's worked since, but there was a lull period, which maybe had we had a director of football, we might have avoided, or it might have gone differently. Of course, we might have lost Klopp if we'd have kept a director of football, so it could be completely different. But the point is, we had someone who was very good at transfers in a different way to the way that Klopp is. I think with that track record, you can't help but go, okay, at least we've got someone coming in. He, by the way, is the CEO of football, so he's not even the director of football for Liverpool. It's Richard Hughes, who will be probably the director of football for Liverpool. So I think overall, it's the infrastructure that United never put in after Sir Alex left that we feel is being put in relatively quickly, actually, at Liverpool.
From a United perspective, do you think this is almost season defining?
Well, you wanted Michael Edwards. United offered. You personally said to me, Edwards and his little glasses would look great at my stadium.
Things that didn't happen.
United offered Michael Edwards a job, as did Chelsea, and they both offered him relatively full control of footballing operations.
You know what's going on here? This is exactly what Liverpool do. They sign someone like Joe Cole, and the first thing they do before they even sign him up for a shirt, whatever about his shirt size, first things first, Man United trying to sign you, and you signed for Liverpool.
I read it in the Metro this morning, so it must be true.
Yeah, and Cody Gakpo also, you wanted him, didn't you? Yeah. I remember you guys were gloating over getting him. Did you get him?
No.
Did you get him? No.
I love this, Will, because we have spoken quite glowingly about Liverpool this season, quite rightly. But I tell you what, I'm approaching that point now where this game is coming close, and I'm like, forget it. This is Man United against Liverpool, and it's true. Every time you sign someone, the first thing you do is put a press release out saying that Man United wanted you.
Well, I remember you lost your head, obviously, with the 7-0 quite dramatically with that famous almost...
it matters.
That pictures could be hung in a museum or in an art gallery.
Should be hung there.
Yeah, should be hung there. But also, I remember when Jude Bellingham just liked one of Trent Alexander-Arnold's pictures after it, and you lost your head at that.
Did you have a meltdown at that as well?
I can't remember the quote, but it was something like Jude Bellingham isn't as good as...
It's not like me to be petulant and stuff,
no, not
at
all. No,
it's like getting your cock stuck in a door. It hurts because it matters.
But some people are into that.
Yeah.
I think it's very difficult to know what it feels like to get your cock stuck in a door.
I've done it. Zip. I've done it in a zip. That's what I meant.
A door and a zip, two very different things.
What's it doing in a door?
That's what you call your zip.
Well, then again, if it's big enough, it's got a mind of its own.
Let me just open the door. Yeah, wow, that's anyway, impressive if you call it a door.
Interesting chat. But no, this is building it up. Lovely stuff, because Liverpool-Manchester United is a massive game, and I do respect what they've done in the league this season, but this is Man United against Liverpool, and there's no point for either set of fans going, I think you should keep Ten Hag. I do think that Mainu looks good, or McAllister's been absolutely underrated this season. Forget it. I hope we beat you at the weekend.
Also,
I hope we beat you.
Let's not start a fight here. Maybe let's do.
Yeah. I want to win the game.
One thing I wanted to look at was we're going to do a combined 11, but I actually put down in my notes, come to both of you, would a Manchester United player get in a full-strength Liverpool side?
At the moment,
wondering, are there any names you want to put forward? I mean, we can literally go through the back line, I think.
I think in the combined 11, I will put some in based on their best form in their career, like, sustainability. There's some people like Varane and that. But you know what? I think that, I think...
Sorry, and that, just...
Casemiro, there's a few more.
Casemiro.
Yeah, there's a few more.
Bruno Fernandes?
There's a few more. But my point is that I think that I'm going with the United win on Sunday.
It's not the same as giving us
Bloody Niall's laughing off camera.
11.
I'm not having this, a little snigger in the background. It's like being in the cinema when you're watching bloody Shawshank and someone starts laughing. It's not funny. It's not that type of film.
Yeah.
I'm being profound. 1-0 Man United. We're going to defend really well. The crowd's going to be up for it. And there's no excuse. It's a great leveler, isn't it? It's like when Everton play Liverpool at Goodison Park. Liverpool will roll up with the best team that they've ever had, and Everton might win 1-0 because, get it up them.
Yeah, I'd be fine losing the FA Cup and winning the Premier League game. I wouldn't like it the other way around.
Yeah, because I think it's more, we'll get onto it with the other FA Cup.
I'd rather lose the FA Cup and win the Premier League game.
Yeah, but no, I understand that whatever I said, you were going to be petty. But I think it's
I want to win both.
Of course I want to win both. But if you would say to me, we lose on Sunday 1-0 and it's a really frustrating game, but we learn from that, and then at Old Trafford we come and win, a solid 2-0 in the league or whatever, we just get a win. Every day I'd be like, brilliant.
There is a mismatch, though,
that
Will.
All day.
There is a mismatch, Will, I think. Even I can admit as a Man United fan, when I watch Liverpool they're just so good. And that second half against Man City, and I've seen Man United play well for an hour this season, and that was away to Wolves, and we don't have the players to do that on Sunday.
Played well in that Villa game.
Yeah,
But I think the thing is that
Villa's
everything
playing.
comes around to that ethos of like Erik ten Hag hasn't said that. We've all said all season like we still can't attribute his style of play, what he's doing. Whereas that's even more to the fore, I think, with Jurgen Klopp now because of the amount of injuries, and then you're literally bringing in youngsters into that team against Manchester City,
Making him look silly.
yeah, exactly. So
Can you do that at Old Trafford, what you did at Anfield, do you think? Where it's sort of like sit back, low block.
Jamie Carragher will be on to you again on Monday Night
not
Football.
allowed.
Yeah.
Not allowed. But what do you think about like Man United and Ten Hag? Because I've always said some United fans, and this is how you get popular with other fan groups. Some Man
Let me
United,
give it a go.
Some Man United fans would say, "Look at Klopp winning it with kids. Ten Hag can't even do it." And I think, well, idiots, because this is why some United fans don't like
Yeah,
it. I just
right, okay,
realised.
yeah.
Because Jurgen Klopp, how many years has Jurgen Klopp been at Liverpool?
8
8 years,
nine
right?
for them.
I said, well, this is what happens when you've got a manager that's been there for 4 years plus. Every signing is a Jurgen Klopp signing, and every youth player is coming through a youth system set up by Jurgen Klopp. So I'm not saying it's easy to do, but Ten Hag's been there 18 months. Against, what was the last game, Everton, only 2 starting players were bought by him. So I think that's the mitigating circumstance. What do you think about Ten Hag? Do you think they should be moving him on? Or do you think, it is nearly the end? Or do you think actually there might be an Arteta or a Klopp there where the first 18 months, I can't remember Klopp's actually, but certainly Arteta finished 8th twice.
Finished 8th.
He might be building something.
I think what we had at Liverpool was an infrastructure that Klopp came into, which was very clear. There was a hierarchy there. Edwards was part of that. The signings definitely served him. In fact, saying it's a Ten Hag signing or a Klopp signing, Mo Salah wasn't a Klopp signing. That was a Michael Edwards signing. Klopp wanted Julian Brandt. And, he openly says that now. So
Yeah.
I don't think
Structure. It's all about the structure. It's all about the players.
Yeah, it is.
Jamie Carragher.
Is that Jamie, is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
When I look at this
Right,
Manchester
don't double
United
down on
side,
Yeah.
Gary,
You got to be a bit
it's about the
harsher.
players. It's about the
Harsher.
players. I can't do it, really.
Yeah,
People
clearly.
think I can because they think any Scouse accent is Jamie Carragher. But there's
they?
very many different Scouse accents.
That's right. There's diversity within a city.
Don't you do it. It will sound like you're from bloody Australia.
Well, just worried about the cul-de-sac we're going down, but let's just stay out of that one with your accents.
Well, all I'd say is, I didn't realise Jamie Carragher was Jamaican, but that's fine. All I'd say is, I don't think we've seen the true Erik ten Hag. I don't think he's playing a style of football that is truly reflective of what he's capable of. And I think that's partially because he's sort of what, when you go into an airport and you can't land, the plane goes into what they call a holding pattern above the airport,
okay, yeah.
right?
Well,
Yes, yeah. Technical
And I
knowledge,
go
I know,
into
guys.
a shit
Technical
myself
knowledge.
pattern.
Yeah, right.
We're gonna crash! We're gonna crash!
No, but so they go, okay, so, sometimes what the air traffic control, I'm sure there's an air traffic controller who go, well, this is wrong. But as I understand it,
Very small, diverse watching numbers.
absolutely,
Big percent of us.
they'll put the plane into a holding pattern. So say that there's not a runway free.
Die Hard 2.
Yeah, or there's an issue on the runway, they can't land. Sure, the plane will have enough fuel to do that for a while. In fact,
Is that when it dumps fuel if it needs
No, well,
to?
you will never dump fuel if you need to go for longer.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. Sorry, you're confusing your technical terms. We need to go further. Dump some
That's
fuel.
before you crash land.
Crash!
Get
crash!
fuel.
If anything, you dump someone out the side of the plane. The bigger ones, the better. So what you do is you enter a hotman. I think that's what United are in at the moment, where they're waiting for air traffic control to go, okay, bring this plane into land tactically. That is Ineos and Sir Jim and everyone else who's going to put infrastructure down. And they've just gone, just get through this period, just play football. Try your best to get us into the Champions League with the squad you've got. And it's not really
Yeah.
And I think
what I want.
Erik ten Hag's me accidentally dumping fuel before he's got to the landing strip.
Interesting.
I don't know what I'm doing.
I think the problem is they kept people who over the summer sort of went, oh, I'm not really happy here because I don't like Erik ten Hag, Harry Maguire, McTominay.
Yeah.
And then since they've kind of had to fudge it. And I still think if you're forcing your manager to fudge it because the rest of your infrastructure is wrong, I think it's harsh to judge him. And I think after they bring someone in, he should get time.
Yeah.
The damning thing is with Erik ten Hag, I think you just feel so neutral about him that if you went and you had someone else, you wouldn't mind. And if he stayed, you almost also wouldn't mind because you go, okay, well, let's find out. For me, at Manchester United, at Arsenal, at Liverpool, at Man City, you want a manager that you have a real affinity with and that you go, that's our guy.
Yeah, our spokesperson.
Yeah.
But this is interesting because I want him to stay because I'm just very stubborn about changing the manager again. At some point, you've got to go, let's stick with something.
Right.
But on the other hand, you're looking for a manager, and
I don't want him. I'm all right.
Beyond Xabi Alonso, I don't think this is a very good manager market.
Ruben Amorim, I think that's also why we got Michael Edwards. He's a stats-based guy, so he's probably not looking at like it's very difficult for me to judge how Xabi Alonso is doing on a daily basis or how Ruben Amorim is doing in Portugal somewhere. Like he's got his finger on the pulse. He's going, cool, let me just measure that. Let me measure that.
Or the mouse.
Yeah, let me measure the temperature in the room around this guy. They are dialed in.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel that Manchester United, they've not quite got that finger on the pulse just yet. They're getting the infrastructure to get that.
And also, you can do all the research in the world. I remember listening to an interview with the Southampton CEO talking, because you remember they had that great run of like Pochettino into Hasenhüttl, and they were like, we know our next manager for the next one. And one of those was Nathan Jones.
Brighton.
Yeah. And I mean, you can have all the identifiers in the world and it still gets pissed off.
Isn't he doing all right now?
Oh,
He's at Charlton in League One.
Yeah,
he's doing all right. Better than me.
But it's true, because actually when you look at Liverpool, and then maybe they will go for an Almiron or a bloody...
I will never get Almiron to manage the team.
What's his name? Amorim.
Yeah.
Well, don't rule it out. Let's see what happens.
At least they didn't call him Alderon.
Yeah.
Didn't go well for that.
Wow.
Blown up in Star Wars. But anyway...
Why are you doing that? Is that the same God in that universe?
Princess Leia's mum and dad died. They had no idea. One minute they're walking around.
Minute of silence, please.
And boom, shakalak.
Do Catholics exist in Star Wars?
No, that was, if you actually notice, I just went over here, then down to here. It's actually
It's
Star Wars.
It's a Willism.
Isn't actually a Star Wars?
Yeah, if you know, you know. If you
Sorry,
don't,
my bad. I don't know.
But as you were saying there, in relation to, you got Michael Edwards there and the structure to go, this guy might work, this might work. It's another reason not to replace Ten Hag this summer. The manager market's not great. And who is the guy doing the analysis to go, this is the right manager? Because we haven't got the director of football. The CEO can't start till the summer. So David Brailsford's doing the strategic review.
Do you call him David Brailsford?
Sir David.
Most people call him Dave.
Yeah, well, I don't think the structure's there actually to go and recruit.
I like the Dave Brailsford 1% thing. I think when they first went in at Nice, they made a lot of problems for themselves with their signings and those kind of things. They learned from that very, very quickly, and they changed a lot of their policies. I think they've learned a lot at Nice, which will stop them from making the big mistakes that they could have made at United. And possibly, there's a thing in America, obviously, they're franchises. A lot easier to buy a franchise. Generally, when billionaires get hold of a franchise, they come in and go, we want a marquee player and we'll change the coach and we'll do this and do that. I think Ineos and those guys have made the mistakes at Nice in other projects and have enough experience not to come in and go, get rid of everything, even though you probably need to get rid of a lot.
That was Moyes as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
He was just like, I'm bringing my own coach and stuff. I'm doing that. Well, they have just won the league how many times in the last... forget it. Everton, we were smashing it. Let's try that.
So I'm going with the Man United win. You're going with the Liverpool win.
And how many Manchester United players in the combined 11?
We're going to do that now.
Right.
What are you going to go for?
I'm going for a Liverpool tonking of Manchester United.
Could happen. And that would be...
I'd love a good tonk.
A nail in the coffin of Erik ten Hag.
I don't think it would. I actually think this is a nothing game. If he wins, loses or draws, there's nothing to lose.
I think if he wins, it massively helps him.
Obviously,
if he can't draw, it will be solved on Sunday.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
So combined 11, are you putting anyone in?
Right. So just goalkeeper. Do you think it's just to be honest, Onana, Alisson?
This is going to be a long look. I think the question is, can you get a Man United player in the current Liverpool side, forgetting injuries, Trent's fit, etc.
I've got a question over whether Diogo Dalot is a...
No.
Is he, no?
No. Dalot's probably one of our best players in a bad season, but he's not. Trent offers so much going forward. You can't ignore that.
So Alisson then?
Alisson would be in goal. Trent. I would take Varane next to Van Dijk at Varane's best.
Right.
I still think
Varane now, if we're talking about Varane, the Varane that you field ever at Manchester United.
No, because I think a centre-back partnership, you're putting Varane next to Van Dijk and they've never played, so Konate would always get the nod because he plays with Van Dijk and you can see the benefit of it. I do think Varane is underrated still. I think he's been a big player for United.
But sorry, again, I'm just going to
at his
put
best,
a really
Varane
fine
would start.
I'd back that as well.
Yeah?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
think Varane's best at Manchester United tops what Konate has done at Liverpool?
But I also think in this magical team as well, he's been dragged down by Manchester United. So set him free in our dream team, and he's having a bit of a new lease of life.
Right. So
I'm talking Real Madrid Varane.
Right. I'm talking Manchester United.
And I'm talking France Varane.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I'm talking Prime Varane.
Okay. I'm talking Prime Konate. I'm going Konate, Van Dijk, and at left back. If everyone's fit,
I think Luke Shaw maybe 18 months ago would have been in the shout, but not. Robertson's got to take it at the moment.
midfield.
Casemiro, Prime.
Stop doing this.
Prime Casemiro.
Okay.
Yeah. Instead of McAllister.
It's not
Or
McAllister, it's Endo.
Yeah, Casemiro.
He's been fantastic. Hasn't
Yeah.
he?
Not this season. It can't
Endo
be
has
Casemiro.
been
Yeah,
one of the
100%. I
form-
agree.
so
But
this
I'm just,
season,
but Man United are terrible this year. I'm going.
right,
I'm
which is
saying,
why this is fun. So
I'm saying
do the.
Prime Casemiro gets in. Of course he does.
But do you know what's interesting about this? We might name like a lot of Liverpool players in this,
Yeah.
but combined for Manchester United, I think this is actually an endorsement of Eric Ten Hag.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Because everyone goes, well, you take Endo over Casemiro right now, you take McAllister over Fernandes.
The only player I would put in the midfield for Liverpool would be
Kobe Mainoo.
Casemiro.
Well, not
Prime. No. Because Mainoo, I would go Casemiro, McAllister, and Szoboszlai.
Sure.
I don't think
Endo, McAllister, Szoboszlai.
Where does Sancho get in this team?
But then again, Prime Bruno would get in.
But Prime Sancho, I think, is.
Front three's yours,
Yeah.
apart from Rasmus. Is
And
better
manager
than,
as well, so we're
Rasmus,
settled on that.
Rasmus now is better than Nunez.
Right.
That's not Prime.
What did you say? Sorry, I was
Rasmus is better than Nunez.
interesting.
Fascinating.
Well, and that's why we.
For
And that's a
the
debate.
interview, I had to say, don't ask me about Rasmus and Haaland because I'll still say Rasmus. Like,
Do I-
if, for me to do that interview with Rasmus, I have to say
Harry
he's better
Maguire
than-
held you up against a wall and said,
He's
"You have
better
to
than
say that."
everybody. No. But I do think Rasmus. I would take Rasmus over Nunez, and I really like Nunez. But I'm a massive Rasmus fan. I think he's just got so many assets to his game, and I think that Nunez has been ridiculed, and I've always stuck up for him. I think he's a really good player, and Liverpool fans will go, no, we want Nunez because they love Nunez, and Man United fans will go, no, we want Rasmus because we love him. I think there's a very similar thing. We've stuck up for Nunez.
Well, don't bring me
and,
down.
and we've stuck up for
you never
Rasmus.
stuck up
And
for
I
Nunez.
think
You're the
the
violinist.
Liverpool fan base, I used that when Rasmus wasn't scoring. I was like, the press started saying stuff, he's got to do better. And I went, look at Liverpool, look at the chances Nunez has missed, and look at what the Liverpool fan base have done. They've always had his back. And United fans have done it with Rasmus. And for both clubs, it's a very clever tactic.
Rasmus is a great name as well.
Yeah. Rasmus.
With you two being fans, we could be all day talking about Liverpool, Manchester United. So
Probably not.
there are some big FA Cup games as well. But I wanted to ask, with those remaining teams, who needs the FA Cup the most this season?
Who's still in it?
Who's still in it? Who needs it? Who would be Eddie Howe lifting up?
I've got to say, Manchester United do kind of need it.
Yeah.
It would be. Somebody said this to me this morning. Man United winning the FA Cup, is it a season definer? It's not a season definer, but it would be some positive from what I would say is probably the worst season I've ever known for Man United.
Wow.
And I thought the
How
Rangnick...
privileged of you to have that season as the worst.
Yeah.
Where
are you in the league?
I thought the Rangnick Ollie one, because we got the lowest ever Premier League points total.
That was a real
That
low.
was a bad one. But I think when you take into account the sale took too long, all the stuff off the pitch with like Anthony, Sancho, Rashford, there's been others. The injuries have been relentless. The football's not been good. So I think it's just been a horrible year. That an FA Cup, at least you could look back on it in a few years and go, we took an FA Cup from it.
It's also when you're in it,
And
isn't it?
it's
Like
rootless.
looking at that Ollie interview and you go through like his league finishes of like
I had
third
one
and
of them
second.
the other day, Annis.
And,
Horribly. Oh, you're talking about something else,
these
yeah.
horrible years in last
Steady now. But like, I think when you're in it, it just feels 10 times worse, doesn't it? But then
Yeah.
like objectively, when you were looking back at those Ollie finishes, you'd absolutely crave for them right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
I think-
Newcastle's a good one though, isn't it?
Newcastle would be interesting. I
They're
think
in a similar
Newcastle, I kind of wonder if their cup has actually dragged them down this season. You know, they've been in the Champions League, they've been in the FA Cup. I think the fact they've been spread out so much is not a good thing for them. They might need it, but I actually think if anything this season, they should have just consolidated and done what they needed to do in the league.
Yeah, and also the position they're in now, what we're going into the quarterfinal, like it won't actually, severely affect their league running now, will it? So like, if they can, like they're starved of it, aren't they?
Their
Up there,
players are knackered.
yeah.
Like they should every 90 minutes or what is it, 120 minutes? So you just go, yeah, that's a lot of extra time. Like the fact that Arsenal played 120 minutes against Porto in a draining game. As a Liverpool fan, obviously I'm watching that and going, this is great.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Same for Newcastle on the weekend. You want to see them play as many games as possible.
It's like you've drawn the number 30 card in the Royal Rumble and you're watching number 1 getting entered and he's getting battered and bruised.
He's getting entered and battered and bruised.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's Man United, Chelsea, and Newcastle. If any of those can get the FA Cup, it sort of puts a shine on. It's polishing a turd, isn't it?
Chelsea's a good shout.
But then look, Cov have got to play Wolves and one of them teams going to Wembley and imagine the Gary O'Neill season if he finishes top half and gets to an FA Cup final.
If I'm being honest, though, I think if Man United knock Liverpool out, it's Man City's cup.
That's your FA Cup knocking Liverpool out.
Yeah. I don't see United being good enough to beat. I think we can beat Liverpool. I think we can beat Man City in a one-off if everything goes our way. But I can't see how we beat Liverpool and Man City, which is what you would have to do. So
I think if you beat Liverpool, surely then maybe there's maybe we could beat. Maybe there's a bit of confidence about the team because we beat Liverpool.
Yeah.
Then you've gone from a draw to a win, and then you go on to the City game and go, maybe it's meant to be. We beat Liverpool, we beat City. Is it a sign?
We could just get
Sir Jim or Sir David.
Another moment of Manchester City in the FA Cup final of your reaction when Gundogan scored that goal after. I mean, that is.
I'm just going to stay. I'm going to stay quiet for the first 30 seconds of any watch along from now on because look at him going long ball.
My favourite one is the one where you go. It's something to do with Spurs, and they go. You go. Really got to get at them here. Spurs are rubbish. It's 1-0 to Spurs. It's one of my favourite clips I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Also, not to get too technical, it's a bit boring, but I think it's important because of Godbridge Saves Football. It was announced, obviously, TNT getting the exclusive rights, but then it's subsequently come out that BBC will be getting some free-to-air games as well in that new deal,
Nice.
which is perfect, really, for what we were talking about the other week, wasn't it? Of these games need to have a high profile, and especially lower down the pyramid, like Maidstone United. We need those on the telly.
I think it's a good FA Cup weekend when you look at it. You've got 2 lunchtime games. Man United Liverpool's 3:30, 5:30 on Saturday is Newcastle Man City. It's at the Etihad, isn't it? So, yeah, you've got to keep it free to air because I've mentioned it before. When it went to the Champions League, a lot of my mates just don't pay for the subscription, so they don't watch Champions League football. So therefore, you're lowering your viewership to create money. And I don't think it's a bit like when you went to Twitch, isn't it?
Yeah, I went to Twitch. Yeah, it was a lovely office day. Yeah. I agree though. It is you end up losing people overall, and some people just end up watching the Twitter clips.
Yeah,
but it's
don't make any money on them.
As soon as it's on free to air, it's like, oh wow. Even if you've got Sky TNT, you're like, oh, I'm going to watch this free to air game.
I love it when it's on the BBC. I used to love it more. I feel like at the moment, and this is just a helpful observation, they over-egg it a little.
Who, BBC?
Sometimes they go monumental, and you're like, winning this round, not really monumental.
Yeah.
And they sort of do what I'm really against, and I really wish they'd approach it. And if Godbridge could save this in football,
I tell you what, I'll give it a bloody good try.
Yeah, here you go. I'm sick of when big teams play little teams. Or smaller, even just slightly smaller teams. So when Newcastle play Liverpool, right?
Yeah.
When Newcastle do anything, they go.
Who's the smaller team in that?
Newcastle.
Yeah. Okay.
They've really stuck it to them here. That this Newcastle team are having a good go, and I'm like, yeah, but Liverpool dominated this side, and there's one counter attack, and you're going, oh my goodness, look what's happening. I'm like, grow up.
That's like when
I met John Motson once though, and he showed me his book, and every commentator has this book, which is if you're struggling, football cliches. So I think sometimes, we all know them, don't they?
Well,
it's a game of two halves,
Yeah. I just think sometimes what they do is try and find drama where there is no drama.
And it's like Chelsea will play Leicester City this weekend. I'll tell you for now, Leicester City are not bothered one jot about that game.
No.
Because everything, their whole financial future depends on getting promoted. Yeah. And they'll be like, oh, David versus Goliath. They don't really give a shit, mate.
Also, if we could just avoid Jermaine Genius in general,
I'm warming to Genius.
I really like
him.
his
agent. His agent's very good.
I like Jermaine Genius as a man. I think his punditry is hard to watch. Yeah.
I'll never forgive him for what he said about United.
Warming to his punditry, and I've been watching a lot of him on the One Show because I've been at home eating tea with my mum. And
you've got way too much time on your
And he's great,
Is he?
Yeah, just real warming to him.
The One Show. Don't Ronnie Keaton do that? I know.
Ronan Keating, Roman Kemp. It's a real great watch.
I actually would prefer it if they say nothing at all.
Yes, lovely stuff. I think that we've sort of done the FA Cup, but also who's going to win it?
That's a great question, Mark, and I would like and think Newcastle United are going to win it.
Love
I
it.
actually like and think that.
It's a great fan base, sort of starved of success. Just really reminds me of Birmingham City, although we have won a major trophy before Newcastle. Right. And I just want that to happen.
You know, Man City are going to literally wipe their arse with them on Saturday.
How many times have we ruled out Eddie Howe this season?
But it's not at Newcastle.
I don't care.
No, Man City are going to win the FA Cup.
Come on now.
They are.
You're saving football.
I wish I was, but I can't see them
With
not
realism.
doing it. I can't see them not doing it.
Got to be a realist.
Defeatism.
Yeah. Well, I mean, him saying that doesn't mean it's actually going to happen.
No,
I tell you what, if it ended up being a Liverpool Man City FA Cup final, that's going to come at a very interesting time.
I don't know if I like them.
Man City or Liverpool?
Yeah. No, like those big finals.
I think Pep and Klopp had their embrace at the end, thinking probably we won't see each other again in the FA Cup. Klopp probably read the script.
Yeah, maybe. Who's going to win it?
I hate to say I do think it could be City. I kind of got this feeling about Poch, but I don't know what the feeling is right now.
Yeah, a bit like a Chelsea fan.
Yeah, I feel like it is City, and I feel like that is the only cup they win this season. Like, it's the only piece of silverware City get.
I hope so.
Do you want to move on to Godbridge?
I want to talk about the Premier League very, very quickly.
Go on.
A couple of quick games there. There is Spurs away to Fulham, I think.
Yes.
That's a good game, that.
Yeah, and I think Villa have got West Ham away as well. So
that's also a good game.
Yeah.
Both games where kits match.
Yeah, and both games where they're fighting for fourth.
Yes.
That's it. There was meant to be another word, but
Who's going to get fourth?
Tottenham.
Spurs, yeah.
Wow. United not...
Not fourth.
But Sir Jim said we need the Champions League.
Well, he should have looked at the bloody league before he said it.
He did. He really should have, you know.
It's like going into the club and saying, I'd love a hobnob, and then realising you haven't got any hobnobs.
You're really backing Arsenal then for this Champions League, sort of get deep into the competition for that.
I think it's really important.
I've said for a very long time, I think Arsenal will actually get to the Champions League final.
Yeah.
They
They
struggled against Porto.
Porto, almost perfect matchup. If you face Munich in the next round.
Very traditionalist, 10 years ago, park the bus.
I love the shithousery.
Yeah.
Going to put it that way. I thought that was cool.
It's very Mourinho.
I love stuff like that. When they go, scenes you don't like to see.
I love seeing it.
Oh, the documentary for Mourinho is real. He didn't dream it. It's next year.
You text me, yeah. I thought it was coming out sooner, but that'd be a great watch. What will be a great watch? This could be not season defining, but if Tottenham obviously beat Villa, then get the result against Fulham. Villa going to West Ham, that's tricky. That is tricky.
I could do with them both dropping points just to make it a little bit interesting that United could get there, but I think the gap's too big. But no, I think we said it the other day, Loz, I think Villa are going to struggle. They've had McGinn will miss that game, obviously. I think he'll miss 3 games. And Kamara's out. And they've got Thursday night football. They played Ajax as well, won't they? So
nasty.
Yeah.
It's really is business time, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is the best 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I actually think this is better, and I'll go on record with this. I think the semi-finals are better than the final of any competition.
Yeah.
I think generally from March 1st until April 15th, best time of the season.
Well, I'll tell you
permutations.
This will please Will, actually, because I'm not really an international fan. Not really an international fan, but I think the March international break before a tournament is always very interesting.
Yeah, right.
And also, the March international break is very good because transfer stuff starts to happen because it's close to that. So that's going to be good. Then you've got April, May ending the seasons. And then you're going into a Euros where probably for the first time in years, I'm actually very excited about the Euros because I think I'm going to witness England win the first tournament of my life.
Bloody hell.
I know, I really am getting into the Euros. Yeah, you can watch it all here.
And you'll be doing a scouting mission for your next manager, which is Gareth Southgate.
No,
so it's just all working together.
Don't bring the mood down.
Yeah.
Don't bring the mood down.
I think that'd be
There's
a
no
great
need
move.
for that.
You think that'd be a good move?
Oh yeah, be one of the best for content.
Didn't you pan it the other day?
Panic.
Someone said that you had a breakdown or a nerve.
He said he wouldn't support Man United if Gareth Southgate took charge.
That's a reasonable reaction.
Well, I will support them. I won't do the United stand. That's very different.
Do it the other way around. If anything.
You can't say you're gonna. You know, there's a lad who works. There's a lad who works on the filling called Jamie.
Yeah, great.
Who legitimately supported Chelsea until 2008. Guess who he supports now?
Man United.
No, 2008.
Man City.
Yeah. That's a true story.
How old is he though?
It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. He could be 18. He could be 35.
That's what I'm saying. If he's 6 when he changes teams, not so bad.
I changed teams. I did it the wrong way though.
Where'd you go from?
Man United to Birmingham.
No, you did it the right way there.
No.
That sounds like a euphemism. I changed teams that did it the wrong way.
They won the treble, and I said, look, we've done it all now. And I was 7 at the time, and I made an executive decision, and I was right.
Dad, I've made an executive decision.
Get rid of these red shirts. I'm going blue. Right, Godbridge.
Yeah, I'm doing this on the hoof.
Yeah.
Godbridge.
Nice, love that.
Godbridge.
Let's get it out of the way. Mark's 48-39 up
Playing
against
Candy
me.
Crush.
Last week, we got 0 points, everyone. It was a real sad day in Godbridge.
Why did that happen? What was the...
What did we do that was wrong?
Yeah, because actually quite an easy weekend to predict.
Yeah.
You had Garnacho, Neto, Bailey, Pedro, Salah.
Okay.
Nothing.
Salah was a silly one.
Are you Odegaard, Watkins, Bowen, De Bruyne for me? You'd like
Again,
to
you'd
think.
have thought one of those would come through.
You bloody think so, wouldn't you? No clean sheets, no defender scoring. So it's a reduced weekend. If
How
you're an
many games have we
FPL
got?
fan, we've got four games.
4-4-2.
A lot of people will scoff at this, but if you're an FPL fan, free hits are abound. This is your chance to gain points, and it's my turn to gain, and I'm going first, and I'm picking Ivan Toney to score for Brentford against Burnley.
I don't mind that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Wizzer.
Yeah,
From
nice.
Brentford.
I was going to pick him as well.
Whizzer?
Yeah.
Doesn't he have a channel in Poland?
Is the guy who
Visser.
the guy who closed thingy down?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
I've gone for Carlton Morris to score for Luton Town against Nottingham Forest.
Beautiful comeback.
I'm going to go Anthony Elanga to score for Nottingham Forest against Luton Town.
Oh,
Just doing it.
It's next Manchester United player, and I like it.
And was on the bench last week, but that's locked in. Heung-min Son versus Fulham for me.
It just goes
very good choice, though.
very
solid.
obvious choice.
You're going.
I'm going to go with
I know who you're going to go for.
the guy from Fulham.
The
What's his
midfielder.
name?
Muniz.
Muniz.
No. Oh, I thought you were going to go for the midfielder that used to be a Manchester United player. Who's
Oh,
the-
Pereira.
Pereira.
Oh,
yeah.
God,
No.
I've learnt my lesson there. I've seen it. I've played the game.
Pick number 4 is Mohamed Kudus for me for West Ham versus Aston
Very
Villa.
good. Kudos for that.
Ollie Watkins, Aston Villa.
Also excellent. He's returned well.
And then I'm going to double down on the Spurs game. I'm going for James Maddison.
Double down. Can Godbridge triple down?
I'll just go Bowen for West Ham.
Brilliant play.
I go for
Bowen.
defender.
Bowen.
I'm tripling down, so I'm going Christian. Sorry, I'm not. I'm going for Luca Dean against West Ham
Show me
United.
which one you wrote down,
I
though.
did put Romero,
Yeah, you did,
but-
yeah.
Luca Dean.
Yeah,
For who?
Aston Villa.
All right. Oh, yeah, of course. They're
Wake
away.
up.
Remember Rafa Benitez sold him and everyone was sitting
I'm
in
going to go for Romero
Yes,
as
all
my
right.
scorer
Yeah, that's going to come
Is your
back to
score
bite me.
for Spurs.
Wow.
And I'm going to go for Emi Martinez.
What, for a clean sheet?
Yeah.
Villa.
Vicario.
Actually, no, I'm changing to Flecken. Brentford.
You should thank me
Yeah.
for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, Vicario.
Do you know what it was? I was like, I'm sure I know his name, but I don't want to say it and get it wrong. But Flecken is right, isn't it?
I think it's right. Just say make sure you get the team right, you'll be all right.
Brentford goalkeeper.
Yeah, Brentford goalkeeper.
I didn't know who he was the other week.
That's fine. But
People
you-
on the watch along could tell I was going onto the website to see who it was. I went, great save! What a save! What a save!
What a
The
You don't know his
reflexes
name?
are
Well, he's done a
unbelievable.
great job there. Turn around so I can read your shirt.
Do you not have the formation? Oh, you just have the United formation up. You don't have the other
No,
team as well.
just doesn't care.
I don't think it was a United game either.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
not top 6, mate.
All right,
Not
yeah.
bothered.
No, well, you did. You. How often do you stream a week?
Lots.
I think it's pretty wild. Sometimes I'm like, I am knackered after today.
Oh, yeah.
Last night on the Arsenal stream, or the other night on the Arsenal stream, I saw you yawn halfway through, and I thought that's going to be a hard recording session.
I needed that to be a 90-minute game.
Yeah.
And it
That's
does
because you're
take it out of
dedicated
you.
to your craft.
Yeah,
You should
that's
be
the only,
saluted
that's
for
the
that.
only downside of the Euros when it gets to the knockout stage, because there does tend to be a lot of extra time.
That's why we need golden goal back.
You
Yeah.
need some diversity. on
Extra
the channel.
time makes me real anxious.
Yeah.
It makes me real. Yeah.
Penalty shootout. I was watching that Arsenal one and I was just like, it's a good watch, but if you've got any toast in the game, skin in the game,
Do the bit of toast.
it's
too.
it's a horrible thing. It's great if you win, horrible if you lose. Get your comments in below. Give us a like, whatever. See you next week.